world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad. Welcome back to the IP Squad, and it's an all-new season. How exciting. Also, I love the idea of it's a brand new season, and we're going to watch the oldest movie we've ever done on the show so far. Yes, we're starting a brand new season. This season is going to be looking at Sherlock Holmes on film.
We're going to watch every Sherlock Holmes movie?
No.
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, my God.
We're going to be here. Yeah, this is going to be the next 10 years of the show. No. You're hearing, of course, because it's an old, classic thing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We get our...
He dusted off the Jones.
Yeah, we pulled him out of the closet.
Oldest one.
We've got the oldest members of the IP Squad, which is true, but that's not why you're here, obviously, specifically.
Thank you.
The Jones boys are with me. We've got Brendan Jones.
Hello.
And Robin Jones.
And I just want to say, John, that as the last surviving irregular of all the Baker Street irregulars, I just want to say it is a bit insulting that you refer to my age as being... one might say elderly. I don't need depends that much,
Most of the time, I don't have to wear
them. It depends.
Yeah,
it depends.
Sometimes,
really.
But not always. It's getting a little. That's approaching some
like
Michael Caine
Mr.
territory.
Holmes always said.
Yeah,
he said.
He always said.
Going to the bathroom in elementary, my dear.
Oh boy. Well,
I said.
To give people a
John,
snap,
you gotta let the bit die out.
But
it will be another 14.
Yeah. But to get to the specifically to address Brendan's point about this, we are covering the most portrayed character in the history of film. That is true. He holds the Guinness record.
Yeah.
So in order to wrangle that into a normal size season of the IP Squad, we will be looking individually at just one entry of each actor that played the part. I mean, some people only did play it once, but some people, Basil Rathbone did it like 15 times.
Right.
And
Larry
Scatman Crothers only once.
But
Bill,
man,
bold. No, I'm just saying, as an outlier, that's one of the best Sherlocks.
It was a bold choice.
Yeah.
Bold choice.
Who knew that he knew that Sherlock Holmes had all those scat moves.
And to answer people's questions, we will be including both theatrical release and TV, which we don't always do, but for this we are. But it does have to be feature length, is the other reason. So we will be covering a Cumberbatch as a result of that, but not like the 50s TV show.
Yeah, and John, just to further underline how precisely we're doing this, we're not doing actors playing characters who think they're Sherlock
They have to be Sherlock Holmes. There is they might be giants.
Sherlock Holmes.
That's why they will not be giants.
No, it has to be
giants.
They have to actually be portraying the Sherlock Holmes. That's why people might be like, you're doing
Larry Hagman.
You're doing the Dudley Moore Hound of the Baskervilles, but you're not because there actually is a Sherlock Holmes in that. So that unfortunately also means we will be doing the Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly Holmes and Watson movie,
which I still haven't seen. The word of mouth was so bad.
I mean, shockingly bad.
I skipped it too.
Yeah,
so
I've seen it. It's got some funny stuff in it.
Their chemistry's great.
You promised me you wouldn't show off that certificate
that I saw. Look, I think I actually have seen every Will Ferrell movie. I'm a big old fan.
He's very good.
I don't think anyone's going to deny that he's great.
No, I mean that.
But he's made some stinkers.
Oh, no, and I will not deny he's made some stinkers. I'm not defending that movie. I'm just saying I saw
that
it.
prison one he made?
Get Hard.
Get Hard. Never saw that.
Him and Kevin Hart. It's okay. That would fall into. There's a lot of just okay Farrell movies too. There's some real disasters, some real classics, and then some stuff like he just did that one with Reese Witherspoon that was okay.
Yeah, I watched it. It was on Netflix. It was okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Totally fine. But you know what's surprisingly good? Eurovision. That's actually.
Eurovision.
I thought Eurovision was very good.
I loved it.
Yeah. So you never know. Anyway, we're
Great
not.
Use
That's
of, Pierce Brosnan.
great use of Pierce Brosnan.
It's weird that we are. Oh, I know how we got here.
That's like
Anyway,
20.
yeah,
That's like
talk
25
about-
movies from now. So let's talk
Let's
about.
talk about Arthur Conan Doyle's creation.
I was gonna say, Brendan. I'm assuming you want to
Ricky
give
Bobby.
us a
Challenger?
Ricky
Are you talking
Bobby.
about Professor Challenger?
No,
Ricky
Ricky
Bobby.
Bobby.
I thought we were doing Sherlock
Talladega
Holmes.
Nights.
We're
Yeah, Professor Challenger has been played by several people.
Yeah. Not
the
enough.
Lost
not for a
Secrets.
long time though. I don't. When was the last time there was a Professor Challenger?
Maybe Leonard Nimoy and the Alien work, whatever that audio series was that he did.
Oh,
with the
Alien.
next-
Yeah, that probably is it. And actually,
Yeah,
good choice.
yeah, really good choice. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Was he
Anyway,
British?
got well, you know.
he
Leonard
was
Nimoy.
mid-Atlantic-y probably at most.
Kind of,
Yeah.
sort of, yeah.
Professor Lee. Anyway, Brendan,
John
do you want to give
Delancey
us a
did a
little
good
bit
job.
about? Do you want to give us a little bit about Sherlock Holmes, as you always like to do?
No, I mean, there's
Great improv, great improv, Brendan. No,
no, and
Yeah.
no,
no,
the thing
but
is, I didn't do any of the research simply because I think he's just so well known. What
Yeah.
can I possibly tell people? Yes, he was written as a serialized character in the Strand magazine.
Right.
Arthur Conan Doyle had been, well, he was a doctor, but he had a professor that he largely based Sherlock Holmes on. This is all just off the top of my head. He just was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a detective character that was smarter than everyone in the room? And someone went, that's never been done before. And Edgar Allan Poe was like, excuse me.
no, Edgar Allan Poe was
He
like,
often does.
give
He
me
can
another
still hear his
bourbon.
grave, do that.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it really Sherlock Holmes, much like a lot of characters when we talk about, pulp characters and things like that, Sherlock Holmes wasn't the first character like this, but it was like, oh, this is when it clicked. And this became the model that basically everybody is either engaging with or working against, right? It becomes
Poe
the thing.
essentially created detective fiction,
Right.
and Auguste Dupin is in several stories, but no, he did not catch on. For one thing, obviously, Poe struggled his entire life to make money off of his stuff, and that he was regarded, but he became bigger after he was dead, as often happens. So Dupin was not like a household thing, but people who were paying attention, especially a lot of European authors, were like, oh my god, that's amazing. So you end up with Sherlock Holmes, but so many others. Was it Lecoq and various other pulp
The
characters
old
at the time.
man in the corner.
Yeah, sure.
Tying string.
But yes,
all the
as far
time.
as what we became, the tropes that we knew as detective fiction is really just crystallized in Sherlock Holmes.
And specifically like the super sleuth, right? The guy who is the smartest guy in the room, the guy who is outside of the police but is a better detective than the police. These all became...
And a person with a lot of personal quirks, which is actually something that is very Conan Doyle, because, I mean, Dupin is brilliant, but he wasn't like a crazy, oversized character.
Right.
But then you count in, hey, I do cocaine. I do cocaine. I play the violin. I'm personally, I have a weird. The way I deal with people is superior and off-putting, but I've got the one good friend. All that kind of stuff. It's like, that's all.
Those are all things I love about the character, and many of them I did not feel were used very well in this movie we watched.
No,
because
that's interesting.
let's jump to film. I will say we're consciously there was one I wanted to do before this, but that movie doesn't really exist in its full format, which was the silent Sherlock Holmes with John Barrymore.
John Barrymore,
but that was huge chunks of it are missing, so that's why we didn't do it. I didn't want to just talk about the pieces of the movie that are still out there.
Yeah, this is not the first cinematic.
It's not the
Sherlock
first,
Holmes.
but this is the first like major talky version of it that. And even this movie was lost for a long time, and only somewhat recently was rediscovered.
One of
you guys
his
watch it on
5,
YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, on YouTube. One of his 5 is completely gone.
Yes.
But the others, including the one we watched, which is the first one from 31, still exist.
We will not always be watching people's first movies. I have specifically chosen once, mostly so we don't keep doing the same thing, because like everybody did Hound of the Baskervilles, and I don't want to do 18 Hound of the Baskervilles, so that's why
you get a little tired of the Hound after a while.
I mean, it's look, it's the most famous Holmes story for sure, but there are a lot of good ones.
Right.
But yeah, so this is the first. I believe this is the first talkie Sherlock Holmes, correct?
I believe so.
I think you're right.
Besides, it's 1931.
I mean, there's not much time for them to have made another one, basically. Yeah, this is 1931, and boy, does it scream 1931.
Though this is also, I will say, before an age where, where contractually people weren't allowed to... Anyone could have been making their Sherlock Holmes movies at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the, Doyle estate would have been angry, but it doesn't matter because... people were going to do it anyway. That's Murnau and Nosferatu is the kind of an example of how loose things were back then. Like, I can't do Dracula, screw you, I'm going to call him something else, and I'm doing my Dracula.
Well, what did we talk about? We talked about this back on a Meet the Monsters Day, the Sherlock Holmes. The stories with Lupin.
I was going to say, I think Doyle also, to your brief sketch there, Brennan, the publication of Sherlock Holmes was like, I don't think we understand it today as much, maybe Harry Potter, but it was so gigantic. The popularity was so worldwide big of a literary creation that almost instantly there was a zeitgeist. There were people publishing parodies. I know in Lupin, Arsène Lupin, that character, he goes up against someone who's very like Sherlock Holmes.
That's Sherlock Holmes.
That's Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
Right, yeah. So it was this thing that people instantly became familiar with, loved, and then began to be parodied or copied in
and
various
also,
forms and fashions.
It's kind of one of the first major like fandoms in terms of when Doyle killed off the character. He was basically bullied into bringing him back by popular demand.
Right.
So I mean, it was kind of the first like toxic fandom,
became infinitely more powerful than the creator, and the creator himself, who tried to branch off and do other things, they're like, no, this is what we want, and he's like, okay, fine.
Which kind of, it's funny, that's kind of the beginning plot of Without a Clue, is that Peter Cook won't let Bing Kingsley publish John Watson Crime Doctor.
Yeah.
We will get to Without a Clue.
Which is spoilers.
Which is a movie I enjoy immensely.
Oh my god, I saw the first 20 minutes of that again because I love that movie.
It's a great movie, and we'll get there eventually. But right now we are starting in 1931 with Sherlock Holmes' Fatal Hour, or also The Sleeping Cardinal, as it was called in England. It was released in America as Sherlock Holmes' Fatal Hour.
Yeah,
1931.
Actually, it was just released as Fatal Hour, and later became Sherlock Holmes' Fatal Hour.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're like, geez, maybe we need to be even clearer.
I mean, I think that's
Final Problem.
It's based on, it's a combination of two stories. The Final Problem and The Empty House are combined to make Sherlock Holmes' Fatal Hour. It does seem like, once again, one of the interesting things, we were talking a little bit before we started recording about watching this. One of the things that really struck me, though, was speaking to the insane popularity of this character, how much this movie is just like, you don't know Sherlock Holmes. It does nothing to introduce him or the side characters. It really just starts and assumes you know everything's going on. Here we go.
And they're correct.
I don't think it threw anyone.
Of the day were like,
and
let's go.
Doyle at a certain point would start these things off with Watson being the main character for 20 pages before Holmes even shows up.
Yeah.
Well, this
Kind of-
movie
kind of
has
like
the
Columbo.
balls to spend
Yeah.
10 minutes of a black screen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then
well, that's kind of one of my hot
14
takes
minutes
on this
of a
movie.
poker game, a
Yeah.
bridge game.
Yep.
Bridge
And you're
game.
like, is Sherlock Holmes in this film?
I really
Yeah,
had that
yeah.
thought. I will say, yeah, it is
One of the
wild
hot
how long
takes
it
I
takes to
had on
start.
this film, because the film is like we said, an adaptation of these stories, but it's also the early 30s, and so it is very stagey because they can't
Very,
use the camera
very
that much.
stagey.
Right.
If you
But
thought
within that,
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
director did a really. Brennan talked about how it's in complete darkness for a while. The director had really interesting ideas on chiaroscuro and the way of lighting,
Yeah.
so that there was something
In places,
going on
for
within
sure.
the frame besides people strolling in and out of the proscenium or just sitting there talking. And
There are little bits
that
in there where
liked
I
a
was
lot.
like, okay, director, you're trying.
There are
It is
moments.
just still early
And
days.
he comes up with these interesting kind of fade edits that go from like maybe a shape into another shape that's similar.
I liked the bit with the portrait, the way suddenly it gets all illuminated and the
Mhm.
voice.
Right,
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
the guy's
there,
trying.
there are some
And
moments,
I kept thinking this guy must have done some time in actual live theater, because those are choices that
This-
you
I
make.
thought he had done
in
some
order to-
time for various charges.
Oh,
you probably,
oh.
you can tell this is a guy who's been in jail.
Yeah, no. Brendan, I'm referring to the great theater programs that are in prisons.
Oh, right, yeah.
Leslie S.
Have
Hiscott.
you seen Sing Sing, Brendan?
I'm going to get me a shotgun and kill all the whiteys I see.
Still
one of the greatest.
We found our Gigi.
We found out Gigi.
Yes.
All right,
we can spend a whole episode talking about Peter Cook later on. We definitely will.
Yeah. Let's save it.
Let's
talk about Wantner.
Let's talk about Wantner. This is the first of 5, as you mentioned a second ago, Brendan, performances as Sherlock Holmes. And I will say, you tell me he eventually maybe gets more active as the budgets go on. But I got to say, immediately, he's at my bottom of Sherlock Holmes. This guy is... And a lot of it is the script and the staging, more so than his performance. But this is the sleepiest, most casual Sherlock Holmes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Casual, but I think more than sleepy. I think casual is a good point, and also
I don't know. He does seem to be about to nap in a few scenes.
Yeah,
he was. Well, he looked like, I told you guys off mic, but my wife walks in while watching. She goes, "Is he laying down?"
Yeah,
it does
There
feel that way.
That's where he's reclined, but I think that here my take on him is one thing that all the reviewers point out, and it's dead on, is that the Sidney Paget original illustrations for the Strand magazine, which basically is what we visually know as Sherlock Holmes, literally the first illustrator pegged it.
Yeah,
and even Conan Doyle was like,
some
That's
of us,
exactly
and
him.
some of us, Brendan, continue to cling to that.
Yeah,
We'll talk about as we go forward whether or not people look like that drawing. I think will matter to you quite a bit.
Yeah,
Brendan would bring that up.
Aesthetics is always a thing, but a lot of the folks who reviews of this stuff is like, this guy, even more than Basil Rathbone, who I love, and he's still probably tops for me, but we'll talk about that.
I mean, I would say certainly visually, he is definitely what I think of.
Yeah, this guy is the drawing come to life.
Anybody
the thing that throws me about him is not necessarily his performance, which is a different take, or at least than what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
But the voice is very plummy. It's very that stereotypical, and it's not the voice I expect from that character. He is very much a stage actor, kind of, and it's just so overly.
Well, it's going to be
British.
It's going to be a big shock of the new when we get to Rathbone, who is so action
He's
guy.
got an energy. Yeah, he's got an energy even when he's just standing there, and he speaks tensely.
Well,
because there's
in the Peter Cushing thing we just did, I would compare Cushing to Rathbone all the time because to me they are deceptively active.
Yes, exactly. Right. You're not buying them, and then you see them in motion, or even just speaking. I think there's a tension there. I think that kind of active intelligence, and I think you can do Sherlock Holmes where he is deceptively like calm or whatever.
Oh,
but
definitely.
I actually do prefer where it's like he gets hungry to be smart and hungry to solve. I
want to see those gears turning, right?
Yes,
where he's
the gears never turn.
Next thing, another thing. Yeah, that thing about, and also what I think so many further, I recognize all this with the caveat is I'm comparing Wantner to every portrayal going forward that I've seen, which is not fair to him. But even when I read the novels, I get this sense of this guy who is like voracious and obsessed, and once he gets his teeth in something, he won't let it go. In
this case, this is very much a consulting detective who is just sort of like, what do you have for me? Oh, great.
He just
have you ever thought when he has his moments of where he like slams at home and he's like going, well, it's because of this and this and this. You go,
he's still a genius.
Sherlock, he's there.
Yeah.
What's weird is he's not my Sherlock, but I ended up liking him.
Hashtag not my Sherlock. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't hate him.
I ended up liking him. I thought as a performer, I can't not. He has lots of nice little touches. I like the way his Sherlock is smug, but not in that superior way. He does a lot of things where before he's about to lay something down, he'll actually do a little like, like, you're going to love this.
Right.
And I'm that's not what I...
No.
And he's also, they keep making a point in the early parts of this movie where Watson says it and blah, blah, a lot of people say it, where they're like going, he doesn't have much of a sense of humor, which is hilarious because this is probably the chummiest Sherlock I've ever seen.
Well, I was going to say,
I was thinking he was one of the most mischievous.
Yeah, he's
Sherlock
mischievous, and he is like cutting up, and he's smiling a lot.
It's something. Something I was thinking.
Smile.
No, it's something I was thinking about going forward, and particularly by the time we get to a Cumberbatch, obviously in modern day, he is so inhuman. I mean, and that's part of the plot, right? Is that this is a guy who is so removed from society.
He's neurodivergent,
right?
And at this point, he is not.
Right. At this point, he is just a guy who, he's like, come on over to Sherlock's. He's gonna solve a mystery. It'll be a good time.
Right. I like the. I always, of course, they stole it for a lot of Sherlock was stolen for Batman, but the whole idea that. Like in Batman Returns, the whole idea that Bruce Wayne is just sitting in a dark room and he's like got no life in him, and suddenly the bat signal goes up and he stands up like, thank God.
Brendan, you have just described my favorite image of Bruce Wayne in all of film.
It's great.
It's the perfect.
But the whole idea of Sherlock is the same. There's a lot of movies and TV shows where it is Watson worried about Sherlock because he's in a funk, and it's just because nothing has sparked him.
So many of the things,
like, got a new case. He's like, yes.
So many of the things going forward will lean into. We mentioned the cocaine use, and it's really like, when he's not solving a mystery, then he's a drug addict because his addiction is mystery solving, and he needs something. And that makes a lot of sense. But that's all people later on going. To this would make sense. We can build a character. One of the things I was talking about when we were talking about starting this season was it's going to be interesting to watch how, like all these pop culture icons, all this stuff will snowball. It's interesting because you were I can't remember, one of you was mentioning that somebody was talking about where's the deer stalker, and you're like, that that starts with Rathbone.
Well, I mean, no, the deer
did it not start with Rathbone?
Is in the original illustrations.
Oh, is it?
The Sidney Paget illustration.
Well, let me say, Rathbone's the first actor, I believe, to wear it. I think is the
maybe,
or at least on a mass level.
Maybe Barrymore did it, but I think that the whole thing is that was such early iconography that even Arthur Conan Doyle was like, that's only for that one story because they're going out to the country and it's just an illustration.
But people just...
And then he's like going, it's not about the goddamn hat. And they're like, but people latched onto those illustrations, which are very good. And then they're like, oh my God, he should always have a deer stalker. It's what he wears.
It goes with the nose.
It looks like
with the nose and the pipe. You got to have the recurve.
I'm looking at photos of John Barrymore as Sherlock Holmes, and there does seem to be... He's got the deer stalker... like briefly in the movie, it looks like.
Oh, well, that often happens. Where
I mean,
we'll give him that.
Not to keep going on that, and I swear we'll get back to this movie.
Even Cumberbatch had it for half a second.
No, the Cumberbatch use of it is my favorite use of it, which because it's the meta nature of he wears it briefly, everybody sees it, loves it, and then people are demanding that he wear it.
Yeah.
Right.
And people love the hat, Sherlock. You have to wear the hat. And he's like, it's a stupid hat. I love his thing about it. It's a stupid hat. It has two fronts. It makes no sense.
Yeah, you must now wear an Inverness cloak every time you leave the house. It's like, please, no.
It's great. Anyway, William Powell was in the John Barrymore version. I I'm sad you can't see this.
He, I think he was either Moriarty or he was the big bad. And
they talk about he plays Foreman Wells.
A lot of bad guys.
Which is so interesting because that really is so different than we came to know him as a sound actor. This guy here is a bad guy. I don't see that happening. All right. I got my William Powell impression out of the way. Perfect.
And I didn't work mine in. What?
Oh no.
What a shame.
Yeah. We'll save that for our Thin Man series.
Yeah.
By the way, if we really want to turn listeners away, let's get the Thin Man going.
You know what you don't want to do is do that because it will be 18 hours of me going, Myrna Lord.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, she's wonderful. And
and 18 hours of me just going, there's your man, Inspector.
Mm-hmm. There it is. But I will say, to your point, getting back to Wantner, everybody, if you're listening, go look up his IMDb because his profile picture is a profile photo of him, literally. Yeah. And he looks like Sherlock Holmes' profile exactly. The silhouette of that nose and everything about it. But I will say, I don't think these guys aren't actually super old playing them, but Holmes and Watson felt older to me in this than I think of them in the books. And I think it's just how they're written.
Watson, he does have like silvery hair, but he seems more the man of action, mainly because he leaves the house more than.
But I guess that's what I'm saying. But it's just like when they're hanging out together, they're all just like, oh, I do say. Quite right. They're all just so staid. Of this
is the big problem. Is that
it's deadly.
It is. It's sleepy, and it gets.
I guess that's what I mean. Is they feel maybe not that they feel old, but they feel tired. I guess in a way because they have to. It's just the way the thing. I'm not putting that on them. By the way, can I now talk about the fact that the guy who played Watson is named Ian Fleming?
Yeah, but in the credits, they put a J in there.
For this one, yes, he is credited as that. But the guy, I don't know why they did that because in everything else, he's Ian Fleming.
Yeah,
it's really weird. I don't quite understand that.
Don, you swore that you wouldn't go into your Bond corner.
I can't. I just skirted the edge of it.
The fact that you are doing this right now. First episode.
Look, I have no doubt we're going to see more Bond people throughout these movies. So
this movie is a fine, suitable Sherlock Holmes. The problem again is pacing. It takes so long for me to get interested simply because and I do appreciate that the plot snowballs, but essentially it is firstly just about a rich dude who's cheating at bridge to make money, and the shame that's going to bring on his sister and his family. That's the whole thing until Moriarty is introduced.
I gotta say,
Moriarty is going to use him and blackmail him, and
it is not the most.
This was kind of a thing that occurred in storytelling and in film, especially in the 30s, was you took a while to introduce the main character. Speaking of the Thin Man, the first 15-20 minutes of the Thin Man is focused on the Thin Man, Clyde Wynant, and his family.
And every episode of Columbo and Poker Face is the murderer first.
It is something,
and Columbo, both of those.
Rian Johnson, of course, who runs Poker Face and writes the Benoit Blanc movies, who's probably the master of modern movie mystery. Has talked about many a time.
He goes, very alliterative, John.
That just happened. But has talked about. He goes the and I think this kind of isn't the case for Sherlock Holmes in general, but it kind of maybe is the case here. Is he talks about the mistake people make about the whodunit is the detective is not the main character. They are not the protagonist of the story in general.
They're a device.
And the Benoit Blanc movies also, Blanc doesn't come in.
And usually there is either the Ana de Armas or the why am I blanking on the woman?
Janelle Monáe.
They're really the protagonist of the story. Benoit Blanc is just sort of seeding through the thing and pushing events that direction.
Yeah, but the problem with this, it's not just the Sherlock Holmes films. I've seen other movies of the period that are thrillers or mysteries. They really want you. Man, this reminds me of like the Marx Brothers things, where they really want you to care about really not interesting characters, like the romantic leads. That are going to sing to each other and all that stuff, and we don't care about them. We want the Marx Brothers to show up,
or James Whale's Old Dark House, where as charming as Melvin Douglas and Fay Wray are, they are, and Raymond Matthews,
very charming.
It is not as interesting as the weirdos at the house.
Right.
Yeah. So this one's doing the same thing, where I just the difference is that when you get to something like Later Day, Columbo, Poker Face, all that stuff, is essentially they're opening with something thrilling, as in here's your lead mystery, and the Sherlock Holmes stories greatly, and they're smartly done, simply because their mysteries are usually kind of obscure and not so exciting. They will get there. It's almost always something like, a misdelivered letter, and and you're like, well, I mean, why do I care about that? Well, it's going to become like
and they make a point of it sometimes, of Watson going, well, why didn't you want to solve the bank robbery? And he goes, because it was obviously this Albanian gang, and the police are going to pick them up.
This movie is a perfect example of that, because it's not the most thrilling setup, where it's like this woman calls Dr. Watson to go, my brother is cheating at cards. Could you have your friend Sherlock Holmes talk to him about that?
She's a childhood friend of Dr. Watson's.
They both are. Yeah, he's known my brother and I since we were children. But just the idea about, like, well, that's not the greatest setup to a mystery ever. Could Sherlock Holmes maybe?
It's not even a mystery. It's just like, can you tell your friend who's already well known into putting the fear of God into my brother, so he'll stop cheating at bridge?
And I gotta say though, that
but
then
again, like the Thin Man, it's Maureen O'Sullivan, or whatever her name is, Mia Farrow's mother. Tarzan the Ape Man. Her coming up to William Powell in a bar somewhere, and saying, it's great to see you again. You once did a job for my father. I was wondering if you'd check in on him. I haven't been able to find him in weeks or something. And him promising to do it eventually.
But
and that's about.
But the thing about that is, at least that's William Powell. In this case, though, you have a character talking to the sidekick of the character we're wanting to see. This movie it almost felt like, was this like a bet someone said? Like, how long can we make this movie before we get to Sherlock Holmes?
Or the Third Man, where you don't see Harry Lime until 3/4 of the way in the
Watson is also
but Joseph Cotton's the main character.
Hillary?
Yeah, Hillary, yeah.
He's at least
Holly.
Thank you.
Holly, that's it, yeah.
He's at least interesting enough to follow. I will say that this Dr. Watson, while being fine, he's got nothing. There's really
fatally
no
boring.
Any chemistry is Wantner putting it on there, because the other guy's kind of just a. I'm game.
Which I do think you realize the importance of Watson by seeing a guy do it not as well, right? As you go
Nigel Bruce is
these
cartoon,
scenes should
but
crackle.
there's undeniable chemistry between.
And he does fun bits, and Rathbone obviously loves watching him do fun bits.
I mean, Watson.
So
he's like Sherlock's pet.
If we talked about
exactly,
if we talked
what is
about
he doing now? Oh, I love when he does that. No, give him that ball of foil. He'll play with it for half an hour.
It's adorable when he look at him trying. I love it.
Delightful the way, when he thinks really hard, he starts chewing on the draperies, and that. But
I was the thing I was taking with. We were talking about the fact that this character is already so known. When the woman at the beginning is like, because they do try to do one of those bits where he thinks he's like, oh, Sir Thomas whatever must be at this thing. Well, I noticed the initials in the hat.
I learned some of this from Sherlock. I'm about to amaze you, and he gets it wrong.
And
he gets it wrong.
Elementary and stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Is she goes, how did you know? He goes, well, it's elementary, and I'm just going like, wow. not only we haven't even heard the catchphrase yet, and we already have somebody playing on the catchphrase. That's amazing. Once again, just how well known this character already is, and that these filmmakers are like, everybody's gonna laugh at that because they're gonna know. You're like, what?
And what
point,
they needed
the
was they
character's
needed a better
already
actor doing
40 plus years old at this point.
But
so
the thing that's amazing about that is watching that in today's world, where we're still trying to tell the origin stories of the most famous characters in the world, because some studio is going, well, there might be some people who don't know.
Yeah,
it's just crazy to think about somebody making a movie where there really aren't many movies of this guy yet, and they're all like, we can just jump right in and already be talking about all the things about him that everybody knows.
By the way, speaking of origins, are we doing young Sherlock Holmes?
Of course we are.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
John, what you're talking about, of course, is Reacher.
Oh, sure.
Where they don't talk very much about anything. You see it kind of in flashbacks as the series goes on, but...
Well, to be fair, even those novels are pretty mysterious about Reacher's origins.
All you know is big smart guy coming into town.
Yeah,
probably gonna be
big smart guy.
At some point.
He's gonna listen to some music and ride around on. He's gonna listen to classic blues and ride around on a bike or be on a bus.
Oh God, people got all bent out of shape about that bike.
He'll kick a car. He's gonna kick a car.
You love that kicking of the car. I love how much you bring that up.
It was the best.
He kicked the car and the airbag went off. It's great. But even still, to keep this on point. To keep this on point, that's another turn, right? That's Lee Child going, what if Sherlock Holmes, but in the body of this huge, massive, hulking figure?
What if Doc Savage?
Right,
really?
yeah. I mean, that's what if Doc Savage, but grounded in reality?
What if Doc Savage had emotions?
Yeah. What if Doc Savage was a real guy? It's sort of a thing, right? Yeah.
And didn't thrill so
By the
much.
way, when I watch Reacher, I add in a little trilling noise every time he appears.
Well,
we've
look. If there's one thing this show, if you go back and listen to our Paul episodes, obviously Alan Ritchson should play Doc Savage. That's the end of the story.
God.
It's just
and he should tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just worried he's gonna get too old. Come on, man, call him up.
You are always worried about people.
An album or something. Oh God, no, Alan Ritchson, make Doc Savage now.
That's right. Shane Black's got a script. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
And Guy Ritchie could direct the shit out of it.
Yeah.
You have to cuss, Robin?
Yes.
There are 9-year-olds listening to this podcast.
9-year-olds who love 1930s movies. That is the thing about this. I was thinking about
pace of the
Brendan. I was thinking about
1931.
1931. This is interesting because this is the same year we started Meet the Monsters in. Of course, this is the same year that Dracula comes out. To which I got
1931 is the year that sound really kicked in. Because it was brand new. And
this was at 27 as jazz singer.
Yeah.
So it takes 4 years for it to become like the norm.
The norm.
Yeah.
And
you know what would have helped this film is if it had been made at Warner Brothers in 1931, because those guys know how to pace a fucking story.
Well, I gotta say, actually, as stagey as I bring up Dracula because as stagey as that is, this is even stagier, and that's pretty stagey.
Even that had some matte paintings and a carriage, and we went outside a couple of times, and this is literally drawing room to drawing room.
No, it is crazy.
Except for there is the shoe. The cobbler shop with the the counterfeiting machine. Yeah, this plot does go places, but it is still so stagily staged that you sit there going like, oh man, come on.
Yeah, there's no
even Moriarty.
It's not adapted from a
by the way
stage play Sherlock Holmes by William Gillette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is like that.
Yes.
And it sort of is it sort of.
Yes, it is sort of like that.
By the way, you mentioned, let's get to Moriarty here, because Brendan, being always the faithful to source material, Richard Moriarty?
No, they call him Robert Moriarty.
Oh, they call him Robert. Robert Moriarty. I knew it was, old Bob Moriarty.
His friends call him, his friends call him Bobby.
Bobby Moriarty. What is that?
I don't know why they would change it.
It's an arbitrary change, right? Like it's just one of those.
It's very arbitrary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of course
it doesn't even reek of that Bruce Banner is too weak. Why not call him David Banner thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the 70s, and Bruce was always shorthand for gay.
Yeah. They were very worried about
that people would think that the Hulk was gay. even though he's with a woman every week.
Yeah.
They're worried that people go, Bruce? Oh, no.
Yeah, he may act like he's into that woman, but we all heard what his first
Batman,
name was.
the series had started in the 70s, they would have called him David Bruce Wayne.
Jesus.
Robert Bruce.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so...
Yes, I don't know why they switched out
it threw me.
James.
Also, the pronunciation of Inspector Lestrade got me, too.
Yeah, that bugged me, too.
And consistently, everybody says it like that. I'm like, oh,
every single person. I thought maybe someone would say Lestrade, but no, everyone says
just
Lestrade.
like Lestrade. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's a British film. British actors, British writer, British director. It's
Mrs. Hudson mispronouncing his name would have been funny, because Mrs. Hudson, she's just a doof. By the way, can I just say in this movie, of course we get the famous bit of like I diverted my own assassination with the bust in the window.
It's so good.
But in this version, Mrs. Hudson's moving it around, which means Holmes was willing to put this innocent woman in the path of.
I will say, actually, though, that's the most Holmesy thing to me is that there is that little bit of sociopathic. He wouldn't want harm to come to her by any means, but
he loves her. In this version, he's doting on her. He's like, oh, can I get that for you? Let me get to the door.
That's what I mean. Is that's a little bit where this guy is. By the way, one of my favorite scenes is when Moriarty needs to clear everyone out of the house, and that little girl just starts shit talking Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah.
And she's just like, my mom says it's weird that you live in this building with two men, and isn't that? And she's like, what?
Yeah. My mother says you give it up for Mr. Jones and Dr. Watson.
She said what? Yeah, I thought that.
To wallop your mother.
Just how long that scene went on for, I'm like, this is insane. This is crazy to be
Moriarty, so crafty. That's how you clear that.
Hey, that's Bobby, man. That's Bobby for you.
Dr. Watson, and I love that whole bit about hey, open that note the second the taxi arrives. It's like, I've already figured this out.
Yeah. You've read The Final Problem, right, Brennan?
Yeah.
I don't remember the Moriarty shows up in disguise and lists all the times that Holmes has messed with him from that. I remember it from the Sherlock Holmes play because that's also
really
the scene
cobbled
where
together.
There's a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because that's the scene in the play, which is the best effing scene, is Holmes has allowed Moriarty to steal his gun.
Yeah.
Because unbeknownst to Moriarty, in front of his face, he unloaded the bullets into his pocket.
Yes.
And allowed him to steal it.
And he points it at him.
When he points the gun, he just drops the bullets one by one into an ashtray.
Yeah, you mentioned this last week, Rob.
Yeah, because it's great. It's the best.
I don't know that he mentioned it on mic, so it's cool.
Okay.
It's the best.
It is a great scene.
It's a bit actually that Mendez took and put in one of his Bond movies too. It's Inspector.
All right.
Sorry, I don't mean to go in 007 corner, but that does happen.
007 corner.
It does happen in a Bond movie that M does that too. Sherlock villain Andrew Scott, Inspector.
Okay. All right.
It all connects, Bond. Man. It all connects.
Yep.
But
anyway, that's in the Sherlock Holmes.
But I do like that. I do like the thing in this where it is kind of convenient screenwriting that Watson comes to him going, this guy's in trouble because he's cheating at cards, and immediately Holmes is like, cheating at cards, blah, 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 Moriarty. And it's all just like... But I do like him having the journal about like, yes, I've been tracking this Moriarty fellow. I almost got him on April 12th when he met,
already, again, this is the movie launching. Of course, they probably aren't thinking... They probably hoped this would be a franchise, but they don't know. This is the first movie with him playing the character. But they're sitting there going, we're going to kick off with Moriarty. So we're already going to have characters mentioning, you're obsessed with this probably fictitious person. He's like, here's the deal. I'm smarter than you, and I know he exists, and I know he's the biggest threat to society.
He's building, this whole idea that he's building these agents of crime, this just massive connected thing. And so even if these people get arrested, none of it leads to none of it
closer
leads to
Sherlock
Moriarty.
Holmes gets the comics, I'm happy. You
Absolutely.
know? And Moriarty is just one of the best supervillains.
Have you
ever.
read, by the way, have you read the Dynamite Sherlock Holmes comics?
No, I have not.
They're pretty fun. I got to recommend those. There's an omnibus out there of them that I recommend people check out.
I've read Lone Ranger comics from them and Shadow comics
Their
them.
Sherlock Holmes series I really enjoyed.
Okay, I might have to
check it out. Yeah.
It's no Sherlock Holmes teams up with Kolchak, though.
Well, what is?
That's Moonstone.
That's the fellas over at Moonstone who are.
It's no.
Kolchak will team up with anyone over there.
Batman teamed up with Sherlock
Where Batman
Holmes.
teams up with Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
Or the issue of Batman where he met the Shadow when DC got the license. And they shook hands at the end, and he goes,
with the
"You were always an inspiration to me."
Cover.
Yes.
So good.
All
right. Anyway,
Batman saying you were always my hero, and the Shadow going, it's a pleasure to meet you, and blah blah blah.
So good.
That's all I need.
All right, calm down, you nerds. God damn it.
Anyway, Batman Brave and the Bold, where he teams up with Sherlock Holmes, is really good too.
It's all super fun.
That Detective Annual though, that also had the elongated man.
True.
All the detectives, Slam Bradley. All right, sorry. Moving back.
Yeah, moving back to.
Detective Chimp.
Do you love? I love Moriarty just being. He's very Blofeld in this. God damn it! Sorry, it really is. But him doing. I keep bringing.
Corner.
I know 007 corner. I'm staying out of the corner.
Doesn't have a cat.
But the whole idea about like he calls people and he's talking through the painting and this whole idea about you.
Yeah, there's some sweet little pieces of
very
staging.
super villainy to Brendan's comic book
coming
point.
to that, which the thing would be, and I watched this on YouTube and I couldn't understand what they were saying, so I had the closed captions on.
Sometimes,
and then every time there was white noise, because there's a lot of it because the soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean it is. I will say they did a decent job cleaning it up, but you can only do so much.
Applause.
Closed caption would write applause anytime there was like white noise.
Yeah, the hiss.
Oh, that's interesting.
Every single time this happened.
Because those are AI generated, so.
Hooray! Yay.
I'm really enjoying the quiet.
Woo!
Delightful. Yeah. Well done, director.
Oh, he found the ace on the floor.
That's
very
funny.
Nice.
That's funny.
And my wife was like, so he just brings a little audience with him wherever he goes. I go, yes, that's the Sherlock Holmes way.
I guess, yeah.
The butler was not a very good actor.
No.
Yeah,
there's some good people in this, and then there's a couple of, like real weak links in this cast.
We've got Moriarty, Norman McKennell. He's a good Moriarty, and I love that he's been
super
under our
villainy.
nose the whole time as the what's he, Scottish dude who plays poker with him.
Weasel voiced one-armed dude.
And they're like, "Oh, you only have one arm? And let me see that."
The best scene in the movie to me is the moment where he sneaks in disguise and confronts Sherlock. And once again, Holmes is totally, or he's just like, Moriarty, I presume. You know, you're just like, okay, this is the Sherlock I want to see. Where he's just like, I'm not shocked by this at all. You're Moriarty, aren't you?
What I do like is that he's got the lower half of his face covered with a scarf. He's wearing dark glasses. However, because it's 1931, those microphones, they're clearly letting that thing drop so he can be understood.
Yes.
And I'm still sitting there going like, man, you could see that guy's mouth, his nose. You're going to recognize him in a second next time you see him. This is not a good disguise.
Do better, Moriarty.
A little harder. But it turns out all he needed to see was his shoes.
Yep.
And I like the way the camera
and the tooth, the gold filling.
That really worked out for. I guess it didn't work out for Moriarty, but it works out a little bit that he didn't see his face because he was too focused on the shoes, I guess.
Yeah, and it was great that Watson's like, well, he was disguised. How could you? He's like going,
those boots.
I know where he gets his shoes.
Yeah.
And he goes, it
the
turns
boot
out
maker.
the same place you get your shoes.
Yeah.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
Boy, is Watson's face red when they go there, and the guy's like going, yeah, yours are right over there, Mr. Dr. Watson.
I love the idea that somehow it would be embarrassing. I love the idea that it would somehow be embarrassing to get your shoes at the same place as like a murderer. Turns out I actually I got my shoes at the same place Ted Bundy did.
Is a counterfeiter as well.
Well, that's bad news.
You know, it's weird is I used to go to the same grocery store that Jeffrey Dahmer went to, and it was a scandal.
Yeah.
A scandal.
And you went, I can't
I had
go
a
back
membership
there.
card and everything.
I can't go back
yeah.
there.
Get that
They
discounts
they
away.
sold Dahmer groceries, and that's just not.
Oh God,
I can't
That was
anymore. I
just-
can't even look at it the same way anymore.
Can't even. I had to leave Minnesota.
Yeah,
because of it.
of course,
yeah,
of course.
I actually went to the same Home Depot they used to shop at. Because,
That's the real
I'd
problem.
say that's just as bad.
I would say
Just
that
as
might be
bad.
worse. Yeah.
That's where he got his drills.
Yeah.
That's where he
Anyway,
got
let's
his
move
drills.
on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
And why did no one question him? All right.
By
yeah.
the way, excellent acting job by young Mr. Quicksilver, whatever his name.
Oh,
is.
Evan Peters.
Yeah, Evan Peters. He
He's
was
very-
really good.
He's a very talented actor.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Very talented.
Big fan.
And a great Quicksilver.
He really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a great Ralph.
And a
Really
great
good
Ralph Boner.
One of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything else? Let's see. I wrote down a couple things during the movie.
Hit me with your best shot.
Hit me
No,
with
I
your
think
rhythms.
I think we've talked about all of them. The talking painting, the Lestrade,
Yeah.
I did
Moriarty,
not
Elementary,
think this
my
was
dear
a
Watson.
bad Sherlock Holmes film or a bad Sherlock
No,
Holmes.
it's just
It
as a
was
film,
just-
it's dated. It's I mean, I like its biggest
1,000%.
the biggest criticisms against it are pretty much just that it's 1931, and you're just like, movies don't move like this anymore.
Right.
Also, an
but
interesting
John,
thing
I,
is-
I think, like I said before, if it had been a Warner Brothers film,
There
'cause
were
you watch
other better
their
stuff from
things
this
in
era.
the early
Yeah.
30s, and they just
Well, they
have
would have
so
pumped
much
up
more
any
energy.
action they could.
Because I mean, yeah, a
they
lot of
wanted
those,
to
you know,
thrill.
they were making the
You watch,
gangster
like,
stuff. at this-
Babyface with Barbara Stanwyck, and that
Yeah.
was made about 31, and it just
And like when it, I mean,
It's
isn't Little Caesar somewhere around in here and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
those
yeah,
are-
yeah,
Rock
yeah.
on, Little Caesar.
Scarface.
See, you know, I mean, they were doing.
But I
Yeah,
will say, I found it interesting, and probably it was all budgetary, that this was contemporary. It's
I
not
guess
set
it
in
was.
the Victorian.
Yeah, I guess it was.
1880s.
It doesn't.
It is.
It doesn't
No,
make
it's
as.
set in
totally-
the 30s. Yeah.
But it doesn't make
Yeah.
as big. It feels like it doesn't make as prominent a deal about that as the Rathbone
Well,
because
they actually
it's so.
say the year 1928.
I guess that's true, but just because it's so stage bound, it does sort of feel timeless in a way. It doesn't feel expressly
know, I-
Victorian.
There are little nods to the fact that it is the modern day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't throw you at all. I still like the Rathbones when they switch to the 40s, but it does, you know, when he's like, we're going to take it to those darn Nazis. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, what?
Yeah, well, because that was just
No.
that had to be a rule then, right? Like you couldn't make a
Yeah.
movie then without being like, and also, you know, fuck the Nazis while we're at it.
Right.
Yeah. In other words, I
Those
prefer
guys
a
suck.
Scarlet Pimpernel to a
Uh-huh.
Pimpernel Smith.
Pimpernel Smith?
Yeah, I do.
I'm more of a Pimpernel Smith guy.
Well, that's you.
I'm open to both. I like that there are both Sherlock Holmes. You know, there are ones that are expressly Victorian. There are ones that are very modern. I mean, he's so. If you're portraying a character this much, why not experiment?
One of the things I really enjoyed about Sherlock when it first started was just I was like, I've seen bad updates, plenty of bad updates, and I was like, oh, this one gets it. They're
Really
changing
clever.
a lot, but they got the spirit. It's
Really
there, it's
clever.
intact.
Yeah.
And they have cleverly updated the mysteries
Right.
and his abilities
Yep.
to a modern sensibility.
It's
Just
yeah.
like
we'll
modern
get
Yeah,
to that.
I mean, the
adore
only
We're not
that.
there.
slight
I know.
ding I would ever put on those Sherlocks was the first one, which I love. The
Which we'll talk about.
studying.
That's the one we'll be talking about, of course.
But the only thing is they do a little bit of you feel the effort to work in. Well, he's not addicted to cocaine, but he does have nicotine patches like all over
Sure.
his arms.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So it
It's
feels a
transposition.
little. Yeah, it just feels a little gear.
All right, we're not talking about that one yet.
We'll
Just
talk
hang
about
on.
it. We'll talk about it later. I
Yeah.
do want to talk about something I normally do on the show is talk about the box office. Now, box office in the 30s is harder to talk
Didn't
about.
exist.
I mean, it sort of did, but not to the way we're thinking it.
No,
But
you would show up to the theater with a chicken,
No.
and they would put it in
No.
a pen. And
yeah,
No.
Can I
No.
see the latest film, please? And you would just deposit
No.
a chicken. They
I
had
want to,
no
but I
way
do
of-
want to talk about because I don't
you
know.
were
I
wrong,
have no
Brendan.
idea what this made. You know, it's not really. But I do want to just talk about just as a snapshot of the era what the top grossing movies of 1931 were.
Okay.
Number one was City Lights, the Charlie Chaplin
Oh.
movie.
That hack?
That hack. Something called Trader Horn. You guys know
Trader
it?
Horn.
Sure,
Trader
yes.
Horn with Harry Carey.
You know what's really sad is look up what happened to the lead actress of that movie.
I'm not going to right now, but people can do that if they. So then you also at 3 you had Palmy Days, which is a musical.
That one I don't know.
It's an Eddie Cantor musical.
Okay.
Then you had the.
Do you wonder? Did he make some big faces? Do you think? During
I bet he did.
Maybe when he was singing.
Um,
Maybe really big.
The Man Who Came Back, which is a Raoul Walsh film.
Oh wow.
And then
Western?
not a Western, it's a romantic drama with Janet Gaynor and Charles Farrell.
Janet Gaynor.
And then finally, also Janet Gaynor in Merely Marianne was number 5. Merely Marianne.
So wait, so Dracula is nowhere on that?
Not on the. I mean, I don't know when it came out. It's possible that it came out near the end of 31 and then into 32 or something like
you're
that.
doing.
I'm doing 1931 specifically for the year. I'm saying that some of that
for the whole year.
Some of that gross might have been into the next year. I don't know.
Well, it should be on there.
I agree it should be on there. I only have the information I have in front of me. Now, as always, as you guys know, I end with highs and lows. I will say it is hard. This one is interesting because there are no 1 or 10-star reviews. So the highs and lows are going to be a little different than normal here. We'll start with
meh and meh plus.
It's a little bit that, right? Like I think
meh and meh.
Yeah, because what I have here is this is an 8-star review.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
person really liked it.
They call it. They do say, "Wow, a nice surprise here." This comes to us from Plankton Rules. IMDb user Plankton Rules. Wow,
so,
a
in
nice.
other words, blue whales are now writing reviews on Amazon.
Yeah, it does. It does just say.
Understood.
Yeah. Got it.
At least it's talking, and that'll keep the probe away.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Those were humpback whales, sir.
That's okay.
Don't when Trek Corner's the other one that we don't want to veer
There
into.
be whales here, Captain.
Sir.
There be whales.
Admiral, but that's okay. He's an admiral at that point.
Admiral.
There be whales, Admiral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again. Let's Trek Corner is another dangerous one for me.
Yeah.
Those are the two
Just
things.
read
All
the
right.
review.
Okay.
Read the review.
In the 1930s, Arthur Wantner made several well-made Sherlock Holmes movies. Unlike the others I have seen, however, The Sleeping Cardinal is not based on a Conan Doyle tale. That's not quite true, but they're somewhat. They combined enough things that I guess you could argue it's somewhat original.
Sure.
But okay, but was created for the film. In addition, the movie makes quite a few references to contemporary things you would not have heard about in the original stories, such as cars. Well, yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yep.
The story begins with you don't need to hear the plot again.
The plot.
While I am a Sherlock Holmes purist, and this is not an original tale, I appreciate this film quite a bit. Sure, Inspector Lestrade was only a minor character in a small number of Holmes stories, and Moriarty was actually killed at Wisteria Falls in the Conan Doyle stories, but the spirit of the stories is intact here, much more so than in most of the Basil Rathbone versions of Sherlock Holmes. Coming for what we're talking about next week. The way he deduces the character of Watson and the entire style of the film fits very nicely into the Holmes canon. Worth seeing in a very interesting tale, showing Wantner was quite capable in this role. By the way, Ian Fleming, this film, who played Watson, is not the same man who wrote the James Bond stories, though they share the same name, 8 out of 10 stars.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
The
Is that why they
entire
knocked
movie
off 2
thinking he
stars?
was the one.
I like the idea that before he got into like British intelligence services, Fleming dabbled as an actor playing Watson
He was
in
a
the
shitty actor. In a,
Yeah, and clearly
Poor
aged
Holmes.
up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's look at something. This comes to us from McGonlin1, who titles their review "A Major Disappointment."
Oh no.
It's nice that this film exists, but as it stands, it's a major disappointment. Director Leslie Hiscott and cinematographers Sidney Blythe and William Luff get some nice proto-noir compositions in the first and last reels. Speaking to your point, Robin.
That's yes. 100%.
But in between, it's a very claustrophobic movie that seems to take place entirely indoors, either in the home of Ronald Adair or in Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson's digs at 221B Baker Street. We know the film is set in 1930 instead of the 1890s because Holmes deduces that Watson's having trouble with his car, but we never see any cars or much action of any kind. It's just 8 reels of dull, ill-paced talk. Where was Alfred Hitchcock when they needed him?
Making other movies.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's got the lodger going on at this point, doesn't he?
The sloppily recorded audio, and though I usually respect the critical judgments of the late William K. Everson, who said Arthur Wantner was one of the 2 best actors ever to play Holmes, he's never convinced me in the role. He's perfectly adequate in the scene showing Holmes as a cerebral armchair detective, but utterly wrong for the neurotic man of action Sir Arthur Conan Doyle also intended Holmes to be. But then to me, to paraphrase the opening of the Conan Doyle stories of Scandal of Bohemia, Basil Rathbone, who looked uncannily like the Sidney Paget illustrations for the original Holmes stories and did both the cerebral and the active sides of the character consummately well, will always be the Sherlock Holmes, 4 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with a lot of what they're saying. I just didn't hate the movie as much as them.
Yeah,
they're right about like what the flaws are, but it's just like I found this watchable.
Yeah, I did too. My only problem really was the audio on it.
The audio is bad, but the audio, I mean, it's most of these movies sound not great. Some better than others, but it's just, I mean, you go back and watch that Dracula, and even in the nice 4K version, you just can't get rid of a lot of that static. It's just there.
No, it is.
And also these movies weren't.
John, you say static, but what it is applause.
That's right.
Yeah.
Woo! Get him, Sherlock!
Keep going! Hooray!
Such a good show, old man. I heard a distinct good show, old man, in there.
Lestrade.
Oh, Lestrade! I love him. I do love the boy. By the way, the purist of the guy being like. Well, technically, Lestrade was actually only in a couple stories, so the fact they keep including it's like, but he's a good character to have and stuff because he's a good character for Holmes to explain stuff to. It makes sense to beef him up.
There was a meme I saw somebody posted where they go, well, actually, Frankenstein is the creator, the doctor, and the monster is, of course, myself telling you this.
The one I always talk about is somebody added the improved ending of Frankenstein, and it just says and as he floated away on the ice, he said, "It's cool if you just want to call me Frankenstein too." I love that. So anyway, there are lots of, like we're talking about. We'll talk about a lot of the stuff. As much as comes from the Doyle novels, there's a lot that just gets added and people going like, oh yeah, that works. Let's keep doing that.
Yeah.
Right. And Brendan, who was diagnosed as a child with having a severe case of the actuallys. He's able to.
By the way, self-dubbed Mr. Source Material.
Yes, I am Mr. Source Material. And I'm not ever looking to shame anybody. I just want to make sure that people who are wrong know they're wrong.
Wallow in it, perhaps?
No.
Get inundated, soaked with the wrongness?
I want them to know what the original
need you to know.
Superman should only live.
Is that why you keep
right, there are things
James
that's
Gunn
always
every single day?
What's this flying shit?
Like a maniac?
What is this bullshit where he's flying?
Glasses were part of the windshield of his rocket, okay? That's how he's able to shoot.
If that's not included, you're going to stand up in the theater and be like, bullshit!
Yeah, I can't help it. Just like our friend on Poker Face, I can't help
bullshit.
it.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that is exactly it. All right, well, gentlemen, next week on the show, we are jumping 8 years to 1939 and talking about probably, at least for a long time, the most famous Sherlock Holmes portrayal, I would say.
Yeah.
Basil Rathbone. Certainly the guy I think of probably first as like the platonic Holmes actor.
John,
yeah,
I don't want to correct you in front of Ron.
Yeah,
it's pronounced Basil.
What?
And it tastes delicious in your pasta.
Sprinkle a little basil Rathbone on there for me. We've talked a little bit about Rathbone in our pulp series, but yeah, certainly, once again, just from a visual standpoint, exactly what I think of as Holmes.
Well, I have absolutely no problem watching Basil Rathbone in anything. He's
one of the greats,
performer, and
great.
what a look! I always, if I could have looked like Basil Rathbone, I would have been a happy.
And as we're talking about, kind of before there even really was an action movie genre, he was an early action actor in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he was an action star.
Yeah.
Yes, and
I mean, the same
Captain
with some
Blood,
of the early Western heroes who actually came out of rodeos.
Yeah, we didn't really.
Oh yeah, Tom Mix really could ride and shoot.
Yeah,
he was hilarious.
Yeah,
Right.
these guys were. Jokingly, we were saying it, but these guys kind of were the Tom Cruise of their day, where it was
They
like,
were.
come
Right.
watch them do the things that they're really doing. These guys have these skills.
As opposed to
Right.
Buster Keaton, who was a total fake. That guy,
Phone it
Fake.
in.
yeah,
Mr. Phone It In. Buster
Mr.
Keaton.
Mr. Phone It In. I think that was his
Mister, I
nickname.
made a dummy that looks a little bit like me. Put him on front
Yeah.
of that train.
Mister, that entire front of that house was made out of foam rubber.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
so
are,
good.
Wood.
I should mention, I think he did 12 Sherlock Holmes movies, Rathbone. We are watching his second effort, because I wanted to skip over Hound of the Baskervilles, as I said. And so we will be watching The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes from 1939
Oh, nasty.
Let's do it.
with Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce. We also get an Ida Lupino in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
We get a George Zuko.
Did he direct this one?
We know a George Zuko, Brendan, from our Monsters Past. So we get him as Moriarty. So,
nice.
I've seen probably all of these on like Turner Classic Movies at some point, but it's been a long time since I've watched a Rathbone Holmes. I'm excited to.
By the way, don't trigger Robin to do his Robert Osborne impression. So let's move on and wrap
The
it
late
up.
great Robert Osborne, but of course, gentlemen.
I'm Robert Osborne. Today on TCM.
Anyway,
He doesn't get a lot of. We had to let him do it a little bit because he does not get a lot of opportunities to bust that out.
Let John finish the show.
Well, I do want to tell people to head over to our Patreon page where you can hear even more expressly from this trio of people where we talk about old horror movie icons on our page there. That's patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. And of course, be sure to check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. We get all of the shows are on there, including some video shows. So be sure to check that out. Not this one though. We're not allowed to show our faces on here.
John, you assured me that our longtime viewers would see this episode because of all the work that I had done.
That's right.
Yeah.
Robin's like, "Are we switching to video? I better call my surgeon."
Those fillers
Yeah.
are not working. All right, anyway, so
He went a little much with them. But anyway, we'll join
talk
you next week. But
week.
until then, the case file is closed.